Welcome back, everyone, to OpenLine, talking about the fentanyl epidemic. We have 4 guests. We're taking them 2 at a time. Right now, we have Candace Sexton. She is Davidson County Medical Examiner, and Mike Hotz. He is with the Metro Police Department. You wanted to add one thing, Mike, before we start taking some calls.
If you or anybody you know is suffering from addiction and needs help to get treatment, we partner with a group called the Community Overdose Response Team. Their phone number, if you want to write it down, 615-687-1701, and they can put people in touch with treatment for addiction issues, even if they don't have money, even if they're uninsured or underinsured. It's a grant-funded organization that can get them the help that they need. And also, if anybody has a family member that suffers from substance use disorder, please go out and get some Narcan. In Tennessee, anybody can go get Narcan. It's a drug that reverses the effects of opioid drug overdoses and can save lives. I encourage everyone to have it on hand, including private citizens as well as business owners.
Wow. Okay. All right. I'm going to take a couple calls. We have Wilma and Lisa. I'm going to start with Lisa, then go to Wilma. But Lisa, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Go right ahead.
Hi. I lost my son in July of 2020. He had graduated an 18-month program, and 2 weeks later he was gone on an overdose of methamphetamine and methadone. The methadone he had taken was his girlfriend's methadone. And my question was, I think the fentanyl question you answered, where in the world is it coming from? Because it is not a cheap drug, and so I was understanding that it was coming from China. So now I guess it's China and Mexico, and then it gets over here. But with my son, I just felt like he might have gotten a bad batch, or his blood pressure went up, and his girlfriend's methadone was lying out, and he took that, and that instantly, kills him. I don't, every case is different, but I'm still a parent with, he was my only child, and I feel the communities are not really aware of every different thing that can basically happen, or if you have another addict that is living there with you. It's just so easy to get your hands on something. I'm sure he wasn't thinking, straight at that point.
Lisa, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
Let me...
It's just, go ahead.
Let's have them talk about this. Lisa, I'm so sorry. Thank you for sharing that. Yes. Briefly, what do you want to add there?
Yes, and Lisa, I'm sorry for your loss. There's been so many affected in the community. Anytime that you mix an illicit substance with any other substance, the potential for death is going to be tremendous, especially nowadays with fentanyl. Your story is one that's echoed across the state, and I'm very sorry for your loss. I can't imagine what you're going through, being a mother myself.
Lisa, I'm so sorry. Let's go to Wilma. Wilma, you don't have a lot of time, but what's on your mind?
Okay, what's on my mind, I'd like to direct this towards the police officer. Now, it's been a few years since I read this, but I read quite a while back that fentanyl has been used in the past by the Russians as a biological warfare agent. So if it's been used as that, I think it would fall into the chemical warfare, which could be like a domestic terrorism thing if you're bringing this in, especially if it's pure in form. Why it's second-degree murder is beyond me. I think it's straight-up murder. I think it should be premeditated first-degree murder, and I think it should be domestic terrorism. 20 years ago or so, they discovered by a reporter out in Seattle that the high addiction rate on meth was coming from Mexico, came from the main chemical in Sudafed, that was being imported into Mexico by the 55-gallon drums. When
All right,
they
we have 30
finally
seconds.
put that together, they stopped that chemical going through the State Department. You guys can't stop that on the street. These chemicals coming into China from China to make the fentanyl. Is there any other purpose for those chemicals? If
Okay,
not,
can they do that? Can they make this? She says it should be first-degree murder.
The problem is that fentanyl is a Schedule II drug, which means that it is very dangerous and addictive, but also has medical use. It can be prescribed by a doctor. It was used as a biological agent in Russia when Chechen rebels took over a theater. They put gaseous carfentanil into the air and unfortunately had over 100 deaths in that hostage situation. It's an extremely dangerous drug and needs to be handled that way.
Good grief. Okay, thank you, Wilma. Thank you for calling in. Lisa, sharing your story. We'll take a break, come back right after this.